Isn't it interesting that a couple of months ago, the Labour Party and all Labour politicians were had the moral high ground. They were so virtuous and they were attacking the Tory party, saying lobbying scandal only applies to Tories. The financial corruption, they're all sleazy and all that. Yeah, blah, blah, blah. What about the Labour Party? Let's talk about Labour politicians because currently two of the top Labour politicians, are under investigation and no one in the mainstream media are talking about it. One of them is Keir Starmer's own Shadow Chancellor, the second highest Labour politician we have in the House of Commons. Rachel Reeves is under investigation for financial corruption. In the House of Commons, the paragraph 14, the guidelines are saying that registration of an interest under category 2 of the guide to the rules, which applies to donations and other support for activities as an MP, Member of Parliament, or member of the House of Commons. This has started a few days ago, the 24th of February 2022. It's not just Rachel Reeves, it's also Jess Phillips. Yes, everybody knows Jess Phillips. She's a hard-working, annoying Labour MP. She has a lot of flaws, but let's focus on this investigation rather than everything else that's wrong with Jess Phillips. Well, she's also under investigation since 25th of February. Similar, but slightly different. Of course, registration of interests under category 1 of the guide to the rules is employment and earnings. So it could apply to expenses, but also the gifts, benefits, and hospitality from UK sources. Again, this could apply to potential lobbying or anything. Again, the investigation has to go through first, but it all applies to potential financial corruption. What happened to these two? What happened to the moral high ground, Jess Phillips and Rachel Reeves? Because if you go back to Rachel Reeves, quite recently, she was very much proactive when it came to the Tory sleaze, the Tory lobbying scandal. And it was quite interesting to see. Only a year ago also, she was talking about, she wanted more transparency when it came to the investigation inside the Tory government. Rachel Reeves was calling for the Register of Ministers' financial interests to be published and raises questions over Boris Johnson's flat refurbishment and all that, which is a fair point. Yeah, absolutely. There is definitely potential scandals and corruption inside the Tory circles, and we've already covered that. Absolutely. It's not being biased. But what happened to the moral high ground? What happened to the position that you guys had, that the Labour Party is only the right side, the angels, bunch of angels who do nothing that's scandalous or a bit sleazy or wrong, or let's just say, for the sake of it, mistakes, right? Like Angela Rayner accidentally buying expensive Apple products on taxpayers' money. So it's just a little bit of a mistake. She was going to walk towards M&S and Primark and all those other places, and she accidentally walked into Apple. So she was going to go to Poundland to get some headphones, but she accidentally got AirPods, the expensive Apple AirPods. So she didn't know what she was doing, right? So it's just a mistake. But they have no leg to stand on, and this is completely scandalous that no one in the mainstream media is scrutinizing this story properly. Everyone's completely distracted. These things matter. I know it might be like mini stories, but they do matter because this is exactly how we have to fight back against any sort of corruption inside the Westminster Circle. But we're going to be here. We're going to be exposing every single story that you're not really hearing from the mainstream media. Why? Because we are the media.